What is up, bros? Me, Josh here, and in this video, I'm going to go over some builds that'll hopefully help you out with your Russian premium cruisers. Now, in these, I'm going to stick to the tier 5 and higher, so that leaves us the Murmansk at tier 5, the Krasny Krym at tier 5, the Molotov at tier 6, and Kutuzov at tier 8. Now, all these cruisers have something in common, and that they all breathe fire. So we're going to work with that strength and build some builds around it. So let's dive in first with the Kutuzov. If you guys were really lucky, you guys got this from the Santa crates. I know a lot of people were getting this thing from the Santa crate, so it's an amazing ship, and congratulations. I'm going to go into the build that I run on this right now, and I'll show you some alternates as well. So this is the build I run on the Kutuzov right now, and I'm really enjoying it. The main thing is Kutuzov works amazing with the inertia fuse. This thing is a really awesome skill to use this. Now, if you guys don't really know how to use inertia fuse, it works really well with stuff with smaller calibers, right in that 152 to 155 range and a high fire rate. So this thing's working really well with the Kutuzov, and I'm loving this captain skill with it. So this is the build I'm running with. Priority target first. I really enjoy this with any kind of cruiser, especially a Russian cruisers or any kind of fragile ship. I'm really enjoying this. It gives you a lot of information, especially potential DD locations or how many DDs are around you. So I'm really liking priority target. You could go with preventative maintenance if you want to. The thing about Kutuzov is you spend a lot of time in smokes, so preventative maintenance, you're not going to get hit too much. So when you come out of smoke, you're hoping you can get some information that a bunch of ships are either targeting you or how many ships are around you. So I really like priority target. Two, since you are spending a lot of time in smoke, a lot of time hidden, adrenaline rush is going to be an amazing skill, so I'd recommend picking this up first. If you are at half life and sitting in smoke, you're going to be able to pump out that much more damage just because things can't really see you. Be careful though, if you do sit in smoke too much, people are getting better at shooting into smoke. I have noticed that recently, that people are getting a better idea of where you are and can at least shoot in there. And of course, be careful of torps. But Adrenaline Rush, if you aren't, I think Adrenaline Rush is really good on anything that can hide in smoke. So just some destroyers, a lot of cruisers, the Royal Navy cruisers, Adrenaline Rush works out really well. Now this is kind of a toughie for which one I would go for first because it is the Kutuzov. I think I would go with Superintendent first. I do want that extra smoke. Kutuzov's and smoke. An extra smoke for Kutuzov is so massive. You start out with one. If you run the premium consumable, you get two, and if you have Superintendent, you get three. I guarantee you, unless you get absolutely deleted, you will use all three of these if you run Superintendent. Now, if you don't really want to worry about it too much, you could easily pick up Demo Expert, pump out more damage for the extra 2%. I think either one of these at 3, because it's only a 6-point captain at this time, you could definitely go back and grab this at a later time. Either one of these are going to be great. This is a bit more damage. This is a bit safer. So depending on your play style, a bit more aggressive, a bit more defensive. So whatever you kind of want. I would probably grab Superintendent first because it is only 2% now instead of 3, just for that extra smoke because it will keep you alive longer. So we need one of those. Then I think I would still grab Concealment Expert. I love Concealment Expert on cruisers, especially Russian cruisers, because they aren't the stealthiest cruisers, but everything helps, and they're so fragile. You got to be really safe. So then these things kind of work together. So I'd probably go back and grab Demo Expert at 13. And then at 17, I would probably pick up Inertia Fuse. Now, this thing is amazing. The one thing that I think probably grab Demo Expert first is because already just Priority Target, Adrenaline Rush, Superintendent, Demo Expert, and Concealment, that's a really good build for Kutuzov. You're going to do tons of damage with that build already. So with Inertia Fuse, you're not dropping the 3%, so you're still going to set a decent amount of fires since Demo Expert kind of offsets the drop in 3%. You're going to do a ton of damage per salvo. So this is a great like 17 point. If you do want to get just super aggressive and grab Demo Expert Concealment, then grab this at 14 points. That's fine too. So depending on your play style, that's how I would kind of build this around. Inertia Fuse though, awesome skill for the Kutuzov. Highly recommend it. It's a blast. You are going to do so much damage. And then with the extra 2 points, pick up extra marksmanship. I think that's really good. If you want to maybe make some bigger smokes, smoke screen expert isn't that bad either. But this is kind of the main build at 17 points, and you kind of have 2 points to do whatever you want. Maybe Jack of all trades if you want a faster smoke and AA. But this is the main build at 17 points. You're going to have a blast with this ship and pump out a lot of damage. Another build you could run for your Kutuzov is something a bit more AA minded, and honestly, it's all it is just changing inertia fuse into AFT. It's a pretty simple build. This is just going to give you that extra AA range and that extra AA firepower. It makes it a bit more balanced. I mean, this is kind of the build I ran before the captain change, almost identical to this, and it just helps you out with a little bit extra AA potency against other planes, a bit more range, and just a bit more damage. Pretty simple. I think this is a bit more of a balanced build. Instead of a bit more just kind of aggro damage build. So it basically just switching the 4 points from inertia fuse into AFT, and then basically almost everything is the same. So that's it for the Kutuzov. Let's bounce over to the Molotov, the tier 6, and kind of build some builds around that. Here's a build I think that'll work really good for the tier 6 Molotov. Now, as you can notice, I'm not running Superintendent, because the lower tiers you get, the less consumables you have. Already you have 3A consumables if you're running the premium, and then 4 spotter planes. I don't think you need more of those, especially in the mid tiers. So this is a build a bit more about damage and a bit more about finding the DDs. Now, priority target I think is a solid start. I'd probably go extra marksmanship first. The turrets on the Molotov don't turn super quick. I would grab demo expert third, concealment expert fourth. And then from there, probably radio positioning finding. The maps are smaller in mid to low tiers, and so you have a better chance of actually spotting things and really getting a lot more information than you would at like a high tier where the map is really, really big. So as you're in the lower tiers, you're a bit more pinched together, so this is going to give you a lot more information. Then after that, I could pick up Vigilance. Vigilance, I think, is pretty solid, wherein you could then avoid more torpedoes. The torpedoes at low tiers are, they're a lot quicker reloads. So there's a lot more coming in your general direction, so it's definitely good to avoid as many as possible. Then with the remainder 2 points, you could easily pick up Adrenaline Rush. So for tier 6, I think this is a really good build. You don't need Superintendent. You really don't need that much AA. The AA on the Molotov is pretty poor anyway, and you're not going to really get too much out of advanced firing training because the main batteries are too big anyway. So you're not going to get that range that you want in the low tiers. And basic firing training, I just don't think is worth it. Even if you buff it like a full AA build, I just don't really see it being that effective in the long run compared to something else you could pick up. So this is a more offensive destroyer hunter build that I think would work really, really good for your Molotov if you made a Molotov only captain. Now here's a build I think that would work really good for the tier 5 Murmansk. Now the tier 5 Murmansk is a high fire chance, high firing, relatively decent range cruiser that is just absolutely punishing. So this is going to be kind of similar to the Molotov, a mix of the Molotov build and the Kutuzov build, in the fact that I would still run Heap or Inertia Fuse. I think that's a great skill for the Murmansk. I think it would work out really well. And basically the build of the Molotov right here, because you don't need Superintendent. You're not going to get really anything out of Superintendent. So basically what I did was I took priority target and preventive maintenance. I would pick priority target first, pick it up extra marksmanship, help with those main batteries turn as fast as possible. Picking up demo expert. Again, I go concealment expert first. After that, I'd probably pick up inertia fuse or radio position finding or radio location, whatever one you think would work better. Like I said, lower tiers, you're going to get a lot more out of the closer maps, the closer quarters, smaller maps. So this is going to be a lot of information for finding those DDs, and inertia fuse is going to give you more damage. So I'd probably pick up concealment expert first, then radio location, and then inertia fuse. I think this is a really good build. Then I had 1 extra point. Preventive maintenance is always a solid pickup. So this is actually a really solid build for the Murmansk if you're making a Murmansk only captain. Now, if you don't want to run inertia fuse, you could pick up Vigilance, or you could pick up, something else, maybe Last Stand or Adrenaline Rush. But I think this all in all is a really, really solid 19-point captain and could really, really make your Murmansk a beast to play at tier 5. Now, last but certainly not least, is the Krasny Krym, or as everyone calls it, the Krispy Kreme. Now, everyone kind of makes fun of this ship. It's a tier 4 ship and a tier 5 queue, but it can still be deadly in the right hands and the right situations. And one thing that's kind of nice is it has 15 guns at 130 millimeters. So what does that mean? You can actually use AFT to give you some extra range. So this is the build I recommend for the Krasny Krym. So this build is going to look really similar to the Murmansk build. Basically all I did here was switch out inertia fuse for AFT. You get that. So kind of you're sticking with the Adrenaline Rush, Demolition Expert, radio location, concealment, and AFT with preventive maintenance and priority target. One thing you could do is potentially drop radio location and pick up basic firing training. Since the caliber is that small, you do get the buff of 10% reload. So that's actually pretty nice. A little bit extra AA. That's kind of mediocre. You're not really looking for it for that much. So you take an AFT, not for the AA, but mainly for the gun firing range. and this is for the reload. Although I think I like radio location a bit more. Like I said in the last couple builds, things are closer together, maps are smaller, and you get a lot of information from it. But I could easily see you dropping it for basic firing training to pump up more damage. Since you have the extra point, you could pick up maybe extra marksmanship. I don't think it's really needed on this ship because of how the guns are laid out. Could even pick up last stand. I could easily see that. But I think this is a pretty good basic 17-point captain. But like I said, maybe go with radio location. I really like that in low tiers. I think it's very, very effective in low tiers for finding those sneaky DDs. So guys, this has been it for the premium Russian cruisers. We went over the Kutuzov, went over the Molotov, the Murmansk, and now the Krasny Krym. Hopefully these builds really help you guys out. Like I said, you can always change and tweak them a little bit for your playstyle. This is just what I recommend for some pretty basic builds, and I really hope it helps you guys out. That is it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.